What's up, you guys? Welcome back. When we foreigners ask a Korean if he or she speaks English, most times they answer no. Think about it. Are you speaking good English? I'm gonna stop you right there. Before you answer, hear me out. I think if I generalize, Korea at a really early age start to learn or start to study English. Plus, there's such a crazy study culture that we foreigners can't even picture it in our head, how crazy the study culture is. Plus that there's so much pressure on the kids. We also start studying and learning English at a very young age and don't even study 50% as hard as Korean students do. So, I have Korean friends who then ask me, how come you Swedish people speak so good English then? But the thing is that we Swedish people actually only think that we do. I think Swedish people in general understands English really well. But so does Koreans. So how come we speak better English than Koreans? I think it has to do that we are more confident in speaking English. Because I have so many Korean friends who has once said to me that they can't speak English, but once they actually do, they speak it so well that they speak it even better than most foreigners and most Swedish people. It has to be a lack of confidence. So why is that? First of all, in Sweden, we get introduced to the English language in our pop culture. We have American TV shows and English-speaking TV shows on TV, basically even more than Swedish shows. And we listen to so much English music. And the Swedish artists in Sweden, they most of the time sing in English as well. So basically we have English around us in our everyday life, all the time. Basically from the day we're born. And like video games and stuff don't necessarily have Swedish translations, because I remember when I played video games, it was always in English. Everything was in English. Because for me, it was a really big shock when I first came to Korea, when I found out that there basically isn't no English speaking channel. There is no English TV. And also, very important, is that when I watch a K-drama, Korean drama, it's always scenes where there are foreigners in the drama and the foreigners are always speaking English. But the thing is that the English in K-drama, it's uncasual. It's so complicated English. And I can't stretch this enough. Basically, all Korean dramas that I've seen where there's an English-speaking scene with a foreigner, the English they use is so unnaturally good. It's super complicated English. And in everyday life, no one speaks like that. 'Cause sorry, you guys who don't take this personally, but I don't think that you foreigners who are in Korea and get those English-speaking parts in K-dramas, I don't think you necessarily are that bad at acting as it seems in those shows. I just think that the scripts are too complicated. And my point is that maybe somehow this complicated English scares Koreans from actually have the confidence to speak English. Because if they only get these English impressions from K-drama, then it seems like English is such a complicated language. While if you're watching an American movie, then you're gonna see that the English isn't that complicated. So ignore K-drama English and speak as much as you can. Because speaking definitely helps. The confidence just to put you in the situation where you have to speak English, that's when you're learning the most. That's when you gain it to another level. My mom worked in England when I was a kid, so we lived there for longer periods sometimes. And that's when I first actually felt that I was actually learning English. Basically, without even having to study it. So when I came back from England like 6 months later to Sweden, then I didn't necessarily have to study for at least the 3 upcoming years in school, because I was so way ahead of everyone. And it was the same for my friend. They had a nanny for a year, and I think he was like 11 years old. And after that year, he basically didn't have to study all the way until high school. Just hang out, just speak. I think that's definitely the way to go, to gain confidence so you wanna speak more. And maybe also a little bit more English pop culture on TV would help. So the kids can get introduced to English, not in a study environment. So, now it's time to answer. Do you really not speak good English? I think you actually speak really well. You just have to believe it. I'll see you in the next video.